Have you ever wondered how the Spartans viewed death versus how the ancient Stoics viewed death, and how this helped both cultures live the good life? Probably not, but I've thought about it and made this video. So I'm going to explain to you how the Spartans viewed death, how the Stoics viewed death, and how this helped both of these cultures live what they thought was the good life. Now, the Spartans viewed death as honorable. So they believed that to die in battle was of the greatest honor. And a maxim that is attributed to the Spartans that really highlights this belief is that before the Spartan boys would go off to war, their mothers would say to them, "Come back with your shield or on it," highlighting the importance of never running away in battle and never dropping your shield. So they viewed death as honorable, and this came from a young age where we're taught our values, and in this culture we're learning our values to be clout and success and fame. The Spartans at a young age did their harsh training, they were taught of the great warriors, they did their agoge training, and they genuinely believed that a warrior's death is honorable and noble, and that fleeing in battle to save your life is cowardly and bad. Now, the Stoics viewed death slightly different. They viewed death as natural. It was a part of nature, that it was neither good nor bad, but it will happen. And an exercise that the Stoics did to really highlight this idea and to really improve their life was the practice of memento mori. So you had it around that time that the powerful elite would have people whisper in their ear to say, "You're only mortal, you will die." But then you have people like Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, the last great emperor of Rome, who served during the Pax Romana, the golden age of the Roman Empire. You have him write multiple times in his personal diary, the Meditations, what I have right here. He writes about death. He writes facts about death. That as the leaves fall from the trees in the winter, so we shall die. It's all nature. And that remember the great kings that came before you, the great warriors, the strong, the rich, the powerful, the wise, even the doctors that knew all about life and death. It seems that all of them died, and so too shall you die. It is our nature. So they've seen it as just a part of nature, and that the fear of death or the threat of death shall never detract from you being a good person. And this is highlighted with Epictetus. A friend is asking him for advice when he's being threatened from the emperor. He says, if I don't attend his courts and do the things he says that I must do, I may be killed. And Epictetus says, you've listened to me for all these years, have you not? What is good? And he says, I know what is good. He says, you do not know what is good. You clearly have not been listening to me. Because if the emperor threatened me with death, I would say, did I ever claim that I can't die? But I will claim that you can never make me be bad. You can never make me do bad. And you can never change my good nature. Because that is within my power. So these are the different views of death from the Spartans and the Stoics. The Spartans seen it as honorable, the Stoics seen it as natural, but how did it shape their lives? The Spartans were a culture at war, and they were formidable soldiers and warriors, and that is what history has remembered them by. That is what Jared Butler has remembered them by in 300, you know. It's a great film. I think it's a great film. You know, it's very memorable. Anyway, the Spartans seen death as honorable, so this meant that they would go into battle with great courage and excitement, and they were fierce warriors, and it led them through life as very strong characters. And you know, they could face hardships, difficulty, struggle. They were very disciplined, great mental fortitude. This is what they're remembered for. They were also remembered for their respect, kindness, generosity. You know, Marcus Aurelius writes, at the Spartan festivals, the Spartans would stand out in harsh weather and their guests would sit in the shade. Marcus Aurelius wrote about that in his Meditations. So this is how it affected them. And if you was to live like a Spartan today, I guess people would see you as quite extreme, but they'd probably admire you for your courage, your bravery. They'd probably admire that you place a more valuable goal over your life. But I think this can be skewed. Whereas the Stoics, they believe that the ultimate goal is to be good. And in today's life, the way the Stoics viewed it is that they only had to aim to be good, and that meant that nothing can detract them from being good. Exile, Epictetus talks about, exile can't stop me from being good. I can be exiled. They threatened him to exile to the island of Gyros, where his mentor was exiled. Musonius Rufus, I was trying to remember his name. Musonius Rufus was exiled there, and he said, it was a wonderful time to practice my Stoic philosophy. So nothing can take you away from being good. And this is what I think is the distinction between the Spartans and the Stoics, is the Stoics, regardless of anything, aim to be good. And they were good. And I think if you see this in your life today, and this is how I try to live, is no matter what hangs over me, no matter what threats hang over me, I understand, like the Stoics understood, that death is just a part of nature. I say memento mori. Remember you're mortal. That's what that means. It's Latin for remember you're mortal, or remember you will die. And it just helps you be present and live fully. And to remember that all you have to do is be good. So, of course, I normally teach Stoicism, but if you want to hear more about other philosophies, let me know in the comments. Currently I read a lot more about other philosophies, believe it or not. I've learned a lot in my life from Taoism, Buddhism, Shaolin, everything. I like to learn about these things. And of course, this channel is for Stoicism, but I'm happy every so often to veer a little bit off track to teach you guys something, guys and girls. So hopefully you learned something from this video. And if you want to learn more about Stoicism, then click this video here and head over to my Instagram at William Mulligan Brother or at The Everyday Stoic, where you can learn more Stoicism and join in the Stoic community. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.